up, guys? So I know we said we were going to hunt Lake Somerville. That's going to be our bow hunting spot. The way things played out, though, Chris and I put in for a bunch of draws. If you looked at our dove hunting video and you watched it to the end, you'll know we got drawn for Big Lake Bottom, Richland Creek, and Enchanted Springs, or Enchanted Rock, sorry. So this is Big Lake Bottom. We're here. We just set up camp. We're in the hunter's camp right now. This is the first day of our hunt period, which is October 2nd through 11th. So today we got a lot to do. I'll let Chris get into that, but we do have about 4,000 acres of bottom land on the Trinity River. We're fixing to get after it this weekend. So what are we going to do for the rest?
So we need to get out there and find a spot, and it's pretty tough. We got a lot of hunters out here. I would say probably about 30 hunters.
About 30.
And so we're on 3,800 acres, almost 4,000 acres. But the way that this place is laid out, we're not really too sure if a lot of the property is accessible. So we're going to get out there, we're going to scout hard, try to get away from a lot of these guys and find out where the deer are. And yep. I think we do a pretty good job at that.
Yeah, we can find them. We're going to set up a ground blind. We're going to get out there, scout our area, pick our place, set up a ground blind. We can bait on this drawn hunt, so right. We will be baiting. And then we have to come back later on tonight also and finish setting up our camp. So it's going to be a full day of scouting and setting up preparation for hunting on Saturday and Sunday. Come along, check us out. We'll go through the scouting and we'll set up our blind and get ready for tomorrow.
We just got done setting up the Primos Double Bull 360 surround view. The blind is awesome. You can get inside and see all the way around you, but you can't see through the material. It's really, really cool. We also threw down some Big and J. I'm really big on their products. They work. So we did the Deadly Dust and the BB Squared liquid. Awesome. We also threw down some corn. We got this area baited pretty good. We bumped a doe on the way in. She was a pretty good ways off. She blew at us, but we're obviously in their bedding area, and that's what we like. That's where we like to hit them. So we're gonna come back in the morning, hunt this spot.
So you can see behind me, I hope, that we got the log that Chris baited up. About what, 20 yards? That log was 20.
20 yards.
That's where we're hoping to pull them in.
Frank, why don't you tell them what we got here?
She's blackened. So I'm not a cook. Chris normally handles the cooking, but since we're out here, we bought one of those rotisserie chickens when we went and got groceries, but we had it on ice, so we're just warming it up, man. We're gonna have some rotisserie chicken, a little bit of potato salad, a couple adult beverages, and then we're gonna get ready to turn in, man. It's gonna be early morning. We're gonna get out there really early and hopefully get after some deer. So as y'all can see, we set us up a little shower tent. This camping ground, this hunter's camp, kind of sucks at Big Lake Bottom, man. It's basically a parking lot. If we turn the camera around, it's just a bunch of trucks lined up. So there's no trees, nothing to hang our camp shower from. So we had to rig us up a little tripod. We grabbed some limbs from the forest while we were out there scouting, and basically just hung it up, man. So we got a little pop-up tent. We'll be able to keep clean. Got a skylight. That's an upgrade. You got to pay for that. I mean, with these luxurious accommodations that we're going on, as you can see, we have a full-on porch on our tent. Yes, the grass and the ragweed is 5 feet high, but that's an upgrade as well. So pretty luxurious out here, man. We're out here. Well, that's all for tonight. We're really just gonna eat, take showers, get in the rack, and be up bright and early in the morning. So
guys, today's opening day. We got in the stand about 6 o'clock this morning, and we hunted till about 10:30. We saw 2 bucks. One of them was a shooter. He was big, biggest deer, you know, I've ever seen. Biggest deer Chris has ever seen. But we couldn't get him to come in. He got close, about 50 yards out, and we couldn't get him to commit. So we had a lot of brush, a lot of trees, as you'll see in front of us. And we couldn't get him to commit. He didn't come any further than 50 yards. The second one that came in on us was pretty close to legal, but he was pencil horned. And this place has a 15-inch minimum inside spread, so we let him walk. We're out here now. Got batteries. We got batteries for the camera, and we're out here for the second half of the hunt.
Chris, what we killed today?
Time.
And about 8 million mosquitoes. No, so we saw them 2 bucks, man. It's been a long hunt. We sat out there again from 2 to 6:30, 6:45. I didn't see anything. Didn't hear. Barely heard anything. Couldn't call anything in. So, but we had the 2 opportunities, and that's more than some of the guys out here have had. We know for sure there's been 1 spike killed earlier today, and that's pretty much all we've heard about now. Waiting for some guys to roll in and see if anybody pulled anything out, but it's been tough, man. There's deer here. We just need to get better at calling them in and hunting. So, yeah, the one we did see was big. We got a game camera hung outside now, so we'll see if he has if he shows up on the trail cam tonight, and we're planning on hunting in the morning. It'll be Chris's hunt. Anything to close the day out, Chris?
Yeah, just about that one big buck we saw. That was probably one of the biggest bucks I've ever seen in person. So hopefully we get a crack at him tomorrow. We'll try everything we can. We're new to this spot. It's about 4,000 acres, so it's tough. Tough coming in on the first day and trying to find a spot and try to find out where the deer are. We saw 2 bucks, and shit, today was a good day.
All right, we're at day 2 on our hunt. We had 2 nice bucks come in yesterday. We're gonna put the squeeze on them today. Let's do it.
Y'all can see we're in the truck, and we packed up and headed back. I got to go to work tomorrow. Been a couple hours since we had that buck come in, and we've cooled down enough to be able to get back on camera and talk about the trip.
We made several mistakes. This new area, didn't know a lot about it. There wasn't any videos on Big Lake Bottom WMA, so that's kind of why we're doing this. Number 1 mistake was we brought a ground blind, and it wasn't just any old ground blind. It was the Primos Double Bull 360 surround view. For those of you that know, it's a very expensive blind. It's almost 500 bucks, and you can see all the way through the netting, 360 degrees, but you can't see in it. So it's got that technology. The problem was the windows don't open up very well. And there's cables and straps and just all kind of nonsense, and when it came time, the buck came in. He was broadside to me for 2 minutes.
Can't really see that on the video because I didn't want.
Right.
So the blind, just like Chris mentioned, with all the straps and whatnot, it also placed us at eye level, right? So we were very, very limited in how much we could move and maneuver and do camera work and the stuff that we need to practice being eye level with the deer. So you can't really see where he was standing broadside at about 20 yards. But I mean, it was perfect opportunity. I mean, in any other situation, Chris makes that shot, right? And we don't go to the point where he walks past us and we have to bleed at him to get him to stop moving, and Chris takes a 40-yard shot, you know. So yeah, I didn't mean to cut in. I just
no, it's
kind of wanted to
I mean that's exactly right. So he came in about 25 yards, broadside to me, staring right at me. Legal buck, nice buck, definitely a shooter. I drew on him, and when I drew, the netting on the top of my window was in the way of my pins. And when I set up originally, it wasn't like that. I tried to scoot down, and I was at full draw, trying to scoot down and scoot down and scoot down, and I couldn't get low enough to get my pins on them. So I held and held and held, and what needed to happen is I needed to get down on my knees, which I couldn't do at full draw. So I let back down. He took off to the right of us or the left of us, and I got down on my knees, drew back again. At this range, he was about 42 yards, and I lobbed wood at him, and he ducked it. So I can sit here and I can tell you 10 excuses on why, but bottom line, the blind got us. The blind got us big time. That Big Lake Bottom is not a place for ground blinds. They might work at other places, but it's not going to work here. This bottom land is so flat. It's all the same. You can see through everything. The only thing that grows up tall is the ragweed, which will tear your butt up. I mean, it is.
Had we been hunting with crossbows, we'd have killed a few deer this weekend. But
we've seen a lot of. We've seen 3 nice bucks.
Yeah, we actually pulled the camera footage, and we had another one come in at night, and a doe and some fawns and some other stuff. So the area's baited up. We're coming back to. I got to work Monday through Thursday, but Chris is going to head back up on Thursday. We're buying tree stands this week, so this is the debate we had, when we first started scouting Somerville, where we're going to go into tree stands or where we're going to try a ground blind, and we don't know. We've never put on that we were professional archers, that we've been doing bow hunting for a long time. A lot of this for me and him is trial and error, right? And this weekend, even though we made a ton of mistakes, man, like from simple stuff, man, forgetting the cameras for the battery, and realizing that as we walk in with the camera 350 yards to our ground blind, right? To the ultimate mistake that we made at the end there, where we just inside that ground blind didn't have the range of motion that we required to make that shot.
I mean, there's under no circumstances should you have to get on your knees in your blind to make a shot. That is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried. I tried. I mean, I was at full draw for what? A minute?
A minute, yeah. I mean, poor guy, man. It was just getting. The situation was deteriorating every second, and the ground blind put us into that situation. Hunting from that blind is what did that. So.
Hey guys, we're back. Big Lake Bottom,
which we are now affectionately calling Big Mosquito Haven.
Yes, they are
atrocious. You win this e-postcard. Don't get me wrong. There's some nice deer out here, but the mosquitoes in early October are terrible.
They're rough. We pulled the card. We got a lot of nice bucks showing up. Even the buck that I shot over the top of, he's back. We're gonna throw down a bait pile and get after him. What do you say?
I had to do a hanging hunt this morning. I showed up late, so we had to drag my stand in there this morning and hang it up in the tree. So saw a couple of does this morning. They spooked before we had any clear shot on them. So we'll get out there again this afternoon and see if we can't get a buck or a doe, or maybe ball both of them.
Yeah, let's do it.
Free tags. Yeah, I got pretty good use out of it out there, see? Yeah, no, probably not.
It was a long sit. It was my turn today. And, well, this morning I had a little yearling come in all by herself. That was it, huh?
That was it. That same doe was probably there, but it was,
yeah. And then we sat till about 11 o'clock. It's pretty dead. Then we came back at 2 o'clock, sat in the stand, threw down some more bait, some Big and J. I've had a lot of good luck with that stuff before, and we had 3 does come in and 1 buck. He was not a shooter. We actually didn't get him on camera, but yeah, he was probably 13 inches wide. And on this particular hunt, we have to be 15 inches wide. So, got to play by their rules. But anyways, we had a good time, learned a lot. The does watched me for about...
We got pretty good footage of the does as they were playing us, really, because you can tell that they were just super mature. Or the mom was, she was pretty smart. She might not have been old, but she was smart.
Yeah,
and,
she was probably about 3.5 years old, something like that.
The camera battery decided to die at the most opportune moment, and I didn't want to risk changing it and blowing Chris's hunt for that doe, or for the buck that we tried to call in. But like Chris said, he wasn't big enough. So.
He wasn't big enough just to see if I could turn him. He came in, and immediately there was raccoons all over our bait pile. And he saw the raccoon, and he turned, and he walked about 5 feet, and I hurried up and I grabbed my grunt call and I gave him a couple grunts, and sure enough, he turned back around, headed straight for the bait pile, and seen the coon and turned off, and
Big bad buck didn't want to get.
he didn't want to get around the coon. But and the does were weary. We think that the mature doe was a doe that we had an encounter with yesterday. So she was a little leery about.
You guys hopefully can see on the footage. I was trying to record, but again, you got to limit my movement, right? Because I'm gonna stand kind of close to Chris's or tree stand, and I didn't want to spook his hunt. So hopefully you guys can see some of what she did. But she was sending out the yearlings on her flank. She would always stay in cover, and I mean, I want to tell him why he didn't shoot the yearling that did come to the bait, because I'm pretty sure I got that on film.
Yeah, so the whole time I was, you couldn't really tell what I was looking at, but the mature doe, the mom, was, she'd let the two yearlings move, and she'd stand back and watch the whole time. And she was watching me. So, I mean, you know how it is when you're sitting in a deer stand, you feel like the deer's looking right at you. Well, I'm pretty positive she actually was looking right at me. And this went on for at least an hour.
Yeah.
And finally, the small little yearling got the courage enough to go over to the bait like it did this morning. And so hopefully they've established that that's a food source, and maybe in the morning they'll come back and Frank will have a chance at them.
Whenever we get done cooking, we'll bring y'all back. We're going to talk to you about what's here and how the draw works and what rules this place has, and what small facilities are available. So we tell you a little bit about the place. This is Big Lake Bottom. It's 22 miles, I believe, south of Palestine, Texas, and it's 4,000 acres of bottom land hardwoods. It's on the banks of the Trinity River. And what you do is, when you buy an annual public hunting permit, right? Me and Chris are figuring a lot of this stuff out for the first time because we've never public hunted before. So when you buy an annual public hunting permit, right, that entitles you to turn in your e-postcards for some different WMAs, and this is one of them. Richland Creek, which we're going to in just a couple weeks' time, is also an e-postcard. But the e-postcard is free drawing for you to enter. You don't have to pay the $30 fee like you normally would. And it's free to attend if you get drawn. And it's also not a 3-day hunt. This one here is from October 2nd through 11th. So we had 8, 9 days or 10 days, whatever it was, to do it. So all of it's free, right? The only thing, I mean, the camping's free. The use of facilities is free. Everything's free. It's an e-postcard. So that's how you get selected to draw here. Now, you can also show up here on the day of an orientation. Our orientation was October 2nd at 11 o'clock or 12? 11 o'clock. October 2nd at 11 o'clock. There were people who have done this before and understand how the system works that were waiting here to talk to the TPWD ranger and get on the standby list. Once you're on the standby, if hunters don't show up who won the drawing, you get moved into the active pool of hunters that can hunt during that time frame. And then, you know, they give you an orientation, and Chris will go through kind of the orientation, what they told us and what to expect while we were here.
Right, so big thing with that, you meet with the park ranger. They're all really cool guys. They very informational. They want you to succeed, right? And they want you to keep coming, because when you apply, when you buy the APAs, the annual public hunting permit, you know, it pays them essentially. So conservation, right? But so we showed up at 11 o'clock, and we met with the park ranger. 30 of us were here, and went over some basic rules. Rule number 1, the big rule, is you have to have a 15-inch wide spread on all bucks. So you're entitled to 1 buck and 1 doe. So again, this is what they want you to kill.
You know, he showed that to us during the orientation, and we've seen them.
Yeah,
they're here.
They're bigger. There's a bunch of deer this size and bigger. So back to the park ranger. So he went over the 15-inch rule, So no bucks under 15 inches inside spread. Obviously it's not a pipe dream here. As you just seen, people kill them all the time. Bigger than that. I measured him at 17.5 inches wide. Other thing was, you know, you have a little check-in station. You can't do it electronically at this site. You actually have to do it paper and pen style. So you basically just fill out what, you know, what animals you saw for the day, and that helps them get more funding for the WMA. So now we'll talk about facilities. Right now we're under this nice little carport with the lights on and power and water over there, and a nice cleaning rack with the gambrel. So this is open to anybody who won the hunt, right? And it's under lock and key. They'll give you the code, and you have to go through a series of gates once you're in here, and that you'll have the code to all the gates. I obviously can't tell you because he'll have to kill me, and I don't want him to kill me. So other than that, this is for the facilities and camping. This is the nicest part you're going to get. Like I've mentioned prior, I've been pretty vocal about the camping. It's a giant parking lot, literally a gravel parking lot. There's no trees.
During our mid-morning break, we actually came up here because this had some shade, you know.
And it's hot.
We had none.
Pretty cool place.
We don't have, there's no, you know, power. We are using the power here. We don't know if we're supposed to or not. He didn't really mention that, but we got to close the gate. So there's a water hose and a well over here that you can use for a shower. Problem with the camp showers, if you're camping like tent camping like we are, you have nothing to hang them on because there's no trees in the camping area, which is the biggest drawback to this place. So I'll use that as a shower. It's been used by other people as a shower. And we wash our dishes with that well water.
Hadn't killed us yet.
There's another gate down at the end, at the entrance to the actual WMA that has a combination code. And then there's about a mile drive down to another parking lot where you're either walking in from or you're taking an ATV and a UTV.
There's a couple things that you need to bring if you're gonna hunt here. Number one, bring a ladder stand or a climber, tree stand, whatever. Get up, because there's no elevation change. It is like, you know, and all
60 feet between here and the river, Trinity River, and 30 feet of it is the ramp that leads down to the camping area. So
right,
30 feet of change from here to the Trinity River, pretty much.
You know, 4,000 acres away. I mean, it is flat. So tree stand, okay, if you want to be successful. Second thing, thermocell. You know, obviously you don't want to wear off, you know, insect repellent when you're out there hunting, because they will wind you quick.
Or you can use this stuff called odorless permethrin,
right,
which is what we've actually treated our clothes with. And the first day back was awful, and then we treated our clothes with that odorless permethrin, and mosquitoes haven't been a problem since. So.
And the third thing, bring your allergy pills, because the ragweed is horrendous. I'd say the final thing is, you know, if you have it, bring a buggy, you know, a four-wheeler.
Yeah, you can get back. We're 400 yards off the trail, and we're probably 800 yards from the turn into the WMA.
So it takes us almost 40 minutes. I clocked it. Almost 40 minutes to go from camp to where we hunt. We'll finish up here. We got Lake Somerville. We got Richland. Back to Lake Somerville. San Saba opening weekend, and then the following weekend Enchanted Rock. It's going to be
CNF. Tune in.
a lot of fun. Thank you. This was the last morning. We had 2 does come in, yearlings, early this morning. Couldn't get it on camera. It was just way too dark still. Real small. Just not very ethical of us to shoot them at that age. And then we had a looked to be about a 7 or 8 point buck come in. And like I mentioned, he's got to have a 15-inch spread, and he was right at the ears. So I was assuming he was 13 or 14 inches. Just couldn't risk it. It's not worth the fine and not being able to go on other drawn hunts. So we decided to pass him up.
If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. The gear that we found really useful to us, both camping and hunting while we were out here, we're going to post links down below. So if you like anything that you saw in the video, there'll be a link down below.